Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning, and that is it. Clean, fresh, so good guys, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea or maybe a cup of coffee or something harder, as I always say, depends on what part of the planet you're on. Today we're going to be talking about Canon and a new fighter pilot type of eye tracking that will be going into the Canon EOS R3.
7 south to north, next to 10, Mike, 500 knots to the loop.
Now this is kind of innovation but iteration at the same time. It's actually old tech that's being revised and put into new cameras, but this technology is about 30 years old. Now I'm going to get into this because I think it's fascinating, and you might also. This might be the future of all autofocus or AF when it comes to EVFs. We'll get into that in just a second also. So before I get into all of this, have you downloaded my ebook yet? If not, go pick it up. Go to JCristina.com/ebook. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. 10 tips of making tack sharp images. There's something there for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're a professional, a pro-am, or just simply an amateur. You're going to glean something for that ebook, and it is free. Not going to beat free. Once again, JCristina.com/ebook. Also, if you haven't cleaned your sensors lately, go clean those damn sensors. You don't want to go in post-production and take out all those spots and all this stuff. Don't do it. Head over to my website, JCristina.com or Amazon.com or B&H Photo or wherever and pick up Aurora Camera Care. It's a product that I invented about 6 months ago or so. They're selling very, very well with fantastic reviews. It is a great way to safely and affordably clean your sensor. Doesn't matter if it's micro four thirds, APS-C, or full frame, I have you covered. Anyways, check those out. Once again, Aurora Camera Care. Anyways, let's get right into it. Now, this, as I call it, the fighter pilot eye tracking thingamadoodle. Canon had this in that camera 29 years ago, back in 1992, I believe it was. And that is a film camera, an SLR. It did have something amazing back then. It had a quartz date, so the time was always perfect. Well, it also did auto exposure, and it did have an auto focusing system. It was a 35mm SLR, and it was actually really quite good. Anyways, it was called the EOS 5. Down here, or I guess on this side of the pond, it was also called the A2 or the EOS A2E. However you want to call it. I like the EOS 5. That works, right? So anyways, this camera had this technology in it, and basically what it was a means to look at your eyeball through infrared and track where it was looking. So there was a grand total of 5 different spots, AF spots, that you can look at inside that camera. And it would actually focus in to that spot. Really quite interesting. So as you recall, in April, Canon made the announcement for that EOS R3, their mirrorless professional grade camera, and it was going to have this functionality in it, which was quite interesting. Now, let me read something from the patent. This is the utility patent application. And just to give you an idea of the breadth of the stuff that goes into this patent nonsense. You got to hear it. So it says, an imaging device comprising a sensor capable of capturing an optical image of an object incident through a lens unit wherein the eye of the user viewing the display panel can be imaged by a display panel. Now, okay. Therefore, an object of the present intention is to propose an optimum arrangement of the EFF in the image pickup apparatus, which is provided with the EVF and can suppress the deterioration of the operability of the image pickup apparatus provided with the line of sight input function. Yeah. So, if we break all that nonsense down, it basically is saying that we're going to shoehorn into this EOS R3 a old technology of our eye control AF in such a way that we place it in a location that it doesn't let's say, hinder the capture nor display of the image that's coming through that EVF. Yeah, really, really deep. This stuff just gets really, really deep, and it gets deep really quick. Up to here. Anyways, so this Canon patent is going to be a revamp of what they have already patented 3 decades ago. And it will be implemented in the R3. And I'm going to guess, if this goes over well, as I think it will, we're going to see it in all Canon cameras down the road. So basically how this is going to work is they're patenting a means of taking a small image sensor that will be sitting on the side of the main EVF. All right. And it's going to use a dividing prism to duplicate or to send the information in 2 different directions so that both units in the apparatus are going to function properly. Your EVF as well as the pickup that will be used to focus IR or infrared light onto your eyeball to monitor its position to where it's looking. All right. So what they're trying to do here is basically kill 2 birds with 1 stone, providing a really high functioning EVF system as well as shoehorning their eye control AF all into one apparatus. And that's what this is showing, and that's what this patent is showing. Now there's bumps in the road. What are those bumps? Well, back in 1992, this unit had this functionality, but as I said before, it gave you 5 points that you can look at. And actually a 6th, which isn't talked about here, a 6th point that if you look at that, I think it was in the upper left-hand corner, what it would do is it would show you a preview of your depth of field. Almost like the old cameras where you push the bottom button and you can see what your depth of field is going to look like. But it's all you had to do was look in the upper left-hand corner and it would show you that depth of field. Really innovative if you think about it. 30 years ago, guys, this is like cool crap today. And they had that in there 30 years ago. It was quite amazing where we've come. And even though we have come a long way, it feels like what is old is becoming new. There's a lot of this interaction between the old, what simply worked, and moving it into the modern technology and obviously revamping it. So, number 1, you're going to need more autofocus points. 5 is just not going to do it. All right. There's going to have to be more areas that you can look at with your eye, and it will tell the camera that's where you want to focus. That's number 1. And number 2, this unit or this apparatus only worked in horizontal format, so landscape. If you switched your camera into portrait, it no longer worked. Obviously, that has to be fixed, right? So, all in all, we're going to see this type of technology in the Canon EOS R3, which will be their professional grade mirrorless camera. That should be coming out soon, let's say, probably before the end of the year. And then following up with that will be the Canon EOS R1, which will be their flagship professional camera. Okay, this R3 will be a stepping stone to the R1. But round robining to the beginning, we're basically taking old technology, shoehorning it into a new system, coming up with a new patent. We know that Canon patents and patents and patents and patents. They got more patents than I think anyone. They patent stuff continuously, all right? They must spend a lot of money on attorneys putting together this type of mumbo jumbo that means nothing to layfolk, and they make it incredibly difficult. I wish they would just say what they want to say, but they really can't do that because they want to kind of stick things in there and interweave different things and then later on be able to say, you see, I said it. This type of thing. You know how it works. So anyways, guys, I think this is interesting. I like to see innovation over iteration, as I always say. Even though this is slightly iterative from 3 decades ago, it is innovative also because this is going to be a breath of new life into this old technology. And I think that it's going to be really, really interesting. I think it's going to be another one of those things that Canon is going to be able to hold over your head and just take that crippling sword to their camera and say, you know, we would really like to give you this eye control AF, but we're not. Or we're going to shut it off if you go to 4K. Or we're going to shut it off if you start filming in 8K. Or we're going to just take it out of a camera even though it still is in the apparatus itself, but we're just going to shut it off or whatever it is. So I think it's going to be really cool tech that people are going to want going down the road a piece. They don't even know that they want it as of yet. It's kind of like a fighter pilot. When a fighter pilot has its heads-up display, wherever he looks, basically its tracking system is tracking into that location because the system knows that that's where he's looking. Most likely that's where the bad guy is or where they need to lock on missiles and whatnot. So having a easy means of focusing or telling the system where to focus is a pretty cool thing. So anyways, guys, I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. That would be really, really helpful. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel as of yet, why the hell not? Just subscribe. There's like 550 videos of evergreen content on here that you can go and watch. So check it out. Also, click this little bell icon over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And as I always say, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. And if you haven't went over to our creative Discord server, go check that out over at community.jcristina.com. Once again, community.jcristina.com. It's free. It is 100% free. A lot of great people over there. Also, for getting to the end of this video, use promo code YT20 at checkout. Once again, promo code YT20 and you'll get 20% off everything in your shopping cart over at JCristina.com. And if you don't want to pick up anything of mine from my website, as I always say, go and head over to Amazon. You can pick it up through Prime, or you can go to B&H Photo and Video, or hundreds of mom and pop photo shops. There is still some out there. Hundreds of mom and pop photo shops worldwide. They all carry the JCristina brand. Anyways, that's it. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.
LFA 7 south to north, next to 10, Mike, 500 feet, 500 knots to the loop. LFA 7 south to north, next to 10, Mike, 500 feet, 500 knots to the loop.